In this video, we are going to go over the top 10 mistakes wholesalers are making in 2024. Too many exit strategies and zero knowledge. Let's unpack this a little bit. What this really entails is you may watch a YouTube video. You may have heard myself or someone else or someone told you, hey, try this. And that may have been a subject to pitch. That may have been an ovation pitch. That may have been a hybrid pitch. That may have been a wrap. And so there's so many exits that are going on in your head while you're on the phone with the seller, or even after when you're done with the seller. And you don't even know if you pitched the right one, right? And so this mistake will and is costing you money. Start with the basics. Until you can recite and really understand the nuances of the pitch and the exit strategy, you should not be pitching it at all. One, you're going to mess up either the paperwork, the pitch, the explanation, the nuances. Just don't. For starters, you should always go the cash route first. Cash route should be your first exit, no matter what. Your second exit should be a rental exit, right? Does the property cash flow enough for a rental? Your third exit should be a seller finance. And why it's number 3? Because it follows after 2. If it cash flows and the seller only wants, let's say, $500 and the cash flows $1,500, then of course you have a great exit there. Always think about where your buyer is buying the deal, not what sounds good to you. Because a sub 2 may sound great to you, but there may not be any buyers buying a sub 2, especially in that market, at that time, in that area, in that zip code. Stop being greedy if the numbers work. Stop being greedy if the numbers work. What this means is, let's say the seller gives you a price, you do your comps, you run your analysis, you do your underwriting, and it's a smoking deal. You're gonna make your minimum on what you like to make for a wholesale fee, and then you go and mess up the deal and you say, let me try to make $40 and more on top of this 20, 30K that I'm already making. You're losing deals because you're being greedy. If you're already in the green, stay in the green. Give your end buyer a lot of room to do that flip or whatever type of exit that is. Because you don't want to sell your end buyer one deal. You want to sell him thousands of deals. And anytime you call that specific buyer, he or she is going to remember exactly what you did for the previous deal. Man, they gave me 30, 40%, return, whatever that number may be at that time. Stop being greedy with the numbers. If they work, let them work. Stop locking up deals simply to lock them up. Stop locking up deals simply to lock them up. What this means is you've done your underwriting, you've done your analysis, it doesn't cash flow, there's a small buyer pool, 5, 10 potential buyers in that area, and you yourself know you will not buy this deal even if you could or had the money or had the means, or even if that was in your market. The first step on that checklist is if you may potentially not buy that deal, then the next person will probably not buy that deal either. And so stop locking up deals just to get a dopamine hit. I know the hit. I know it feels great to get that yes and get that signed contract. Trust me, I know I've done this where I've just locked up a deal just to feel good. Like, man, I got one, I got another one. But deep down, it's not a deal. And you're going to have to cancel that deal. Stop locking up deals simply to lock up deals. And I'm fault to this one as well, even with my experience, right? Your rehab estimates. As the saying goes, buyers are liars and sellers are worse. Okay? If a seller is going to tell you, hey, it only needs carpet or it only needs paint and flooring, and when you actually see the property, it needs a medium to a heavy renovation. It needs cabinets and kitchens and floors and paint and flooring all throughout, right? I just had a similar deal fall through where exactly the seller said it just needs paint. And when we walked the property, it was a complete remodel. It went from a $10,000 repair to a $60,000 repair. Buyers are liars, sellers are worse. Stop underwriting the deal to make the numbers look like they work. What that means is you're squeezing the ARV, the after repair value, you're squeezing the repair, you're squeezing the fee just to force that deal to work. You should not have to squeeze the deal for it to work, right? So when you're underwriting, if the ARV is, 150 and the repairs are 30 grand and your fee is 10,000, right? And the asking price, let's just say, is 80,000, and it doesn't work at that price, don't fluff your ARV and say it's 180 and repairs are 15,000, right? It's going to come back and haunt you, I promise you. If the deal does not work, don't lock it up. This one goes hand in hand with number 5, comping or analyzing deals incorrectly. Comping and analyzing is an art, right? You're finding blueprint properties similar to yours, similar in square footage, similar in year build, similar type, etc. And you're finding them with recent sales within preferably a quarter to half a mile of your subject property. Now, where folks are getting this wrong is they're going to the highest and best sold comp that's 2 miles away when you clearly have 5-10 comps within that quarter mile. Just because a comp sold a mile away doesn't mean it's a comp for your property. The whole area can change from block to block. This happens a lot in Orlando. This happens a lot in the Baltimore market. This happens a lot in the Philadelphia market. Well, literally one street will change an entire block. One street will change an entire area or deal. This happens a lot in St. Louis as well. Literally, you cross the street and it's a whole different ballgame. And so don't fluff the numbers when it comes to comping or analyzing a deal. If it's an apples to apples and it's within that quarter mile, you're not crossing any major interstates or you're not going through a interstate or highway, then it's a comp. Stay within 10 years of your subject property. Stay within 200 to 250 of square footage. If it's a single story, don't go and comp a 2-story unless you're gonna do a pop top and add a top to the single story, right? Basements you could be a little bit lenient with. If one has a basement and one doesn't, you could be a little lenient if that's the only option. You'll just have to adjust your ARV a bit, right? But don't go and comp a 2-story that sold, a month ago for 10 times the return and it's a mile away. It's just not a true comp, right? You're representing yourself, your name, and your brand. And when you send that deal out, I get these deals all the time. I've physically told people, don't send me any more deals. I don't want to do any more deals with you. It's boots on the ground. Stop struggling with boots on the ground. Stop trying to get your mom to go walk that property and take pictures, or your best friend, Jose, to go walk that picture. You're running a business. Be professional. There are options. I know some people like to have the seller take pictures or have the first potential buyer that walks by and takes pictures, right? Or you can hire a handyman to go take pictures. Me personally, I can get pictures taken professionally, over 100 pictures and video within 3 hours in any city, in any state, just outsourcing that to a nationwide company that serves wholesalers like us. There's no more stress. There's no more, am I gonna get pictures? Am I gonna get a lockbox on here? It's literally, I got the deal locked up. I underwrote it correctly. It's all good. Let me send them to go take pictures. Within 3 hours timeline, I have 100 plus pictures, 2 videos, and it's ready to send to Dispo team and get blasted. Stop relying on the dog, on your mom, on your friend, on the homeowner. Get professional pictures done. The more pictures you put out there, the likelihood of a sight unseen purchase goes through the roof. Anything over 50 pictures and 2 videos, most time buyers don't need to walk that property. Folks are afraid to navigate through this error is renegotiating with the seller. Even I hate doing this. Just 3 days ago, I price dropped the seller 3 times. Because why? Buyers are liars and sellers are worse. She started swinging for the fences at like 100,000. I negotiated that down to about 75, 80,000. Tells me the condition that doesn't work. So before we even walk the property, right? I see pictures from the seller, go figure. And I'm like, okay, based on these pictures, I have to be at, 50,000. We agree, get that signed. And then we walk the property the following day. And she only showed the good pictures. She didn't show the rest of the mess that's going on, right? So I had to renegotiate that price. Did it pan out? No, it didn't. But I tried, right? We tried, I educated her. She understood the numbers. She just did not want to accept it. What she wants and what's gonna happen is she's gonna run through the whole wholesale industry until she gets slapped around a little bit, no pun intended, and realizes, oh shoot, Eric was right with his numbers. And at that point, that's where my follow-up comes in and we get that deal again. But it's one of the toughest things to do. I get it, right? But when this happens, you have to educate with facts, right? Don't pull numbers out of your ass just to get a price reduction. And if you do a price reduction, it should be once you know that you can sell it, once you have an end buyer, right? Once you've walked the property and you know I can move this thing at X. So don't pull numbers out of your ass. And when you're saying that, and when you're getting a price drop, it's simple. Miss Seller, appreciate your time. And you have to be assertive and a buyer. I appreciate your time. Here's what we got. We walked the property, my partners and I, verified the condition, verified everything. Unfortunately, our rehab renovation estimates, they're gonna be way over what we projected based on what you told us. Now, we are still interested in the deal. However, we just have to renegotiate that price a little bit and we have to be at X. And again, that's when you shut up. Now, use your own words, tailor it according. Don't be afraid to renegotiate with a seller. It's going to happen, it's inevitable. This is one of the biggest mistakes that this entire industry makes. The lack of JVs that's going on. Even when folks blast the deal out on social platforms, the first thing they put, no JVs, no wholesalers, direct to end buyer. This is potentially killing your business. Now I get it. There are wholesalers that don't know what the fuck is going on or what they're doing. But you should be able to network with professional wholesalers that know what's going on. There's a ton out there. Send it to myself, send it to RJ Bates, send it to Jerry Norton, Ace Morby from Sub 2. You've got Jamil Damji with Astro, and he owns part of Keegley. There's just so many out there. What you're not realizing is, which this goes into the final step, your cash conversion cycle. By not wanting to JV, you're burning up your cash conversion cycle, which simply means how long does it take you to get the money that you put in to receive that lead back into your pocket plus the profit. So if you do this alone, it might take you 3 months, 2 months to go from A to Z. Then it would have taken you 2 to 3 weeks to do a JV and burn through that cash conversion cycle. Because at that rate, then you're operating like a bank, like an ATM. You're just printing money. If you're going through your cash conversion cycle in 2 week, 3 week increments, even if your profit is smaller, you'll make more because the volume, that conversion cycle is just, you invest 10,000, 3 weeks later, you get 20. Boom. Put all 20 back into the deal. Now you invest 20,000. Now you make 40,000 in 3 weeks. Put that back. Versus making 20,000 in 2 months. You already made 40 to 50, the other model. You have to vet these JVs, of course, right? There's a ton of JVers that they're eager to make their first deal. They don't know what's going on. They're just swinging for the fences. So vet your JVers, but also take a look at your cash conversion cycle. Is one of the most important metrics you should be tracking in your wholesale business. Cash conversion cycle. How long does it take for the money that I put out to get back to me? Simple as that. And this is a bonus tip. Another metric you should be following in your wholesale business, your return on investment. There's so many hats that we wear. Accounting hat, sales hat, marketing hat. Those 2 metrics should be the only 2 ones that you start really focusing on, and then comes KPI, etc. Because if you put 10,000 out into the marketplace altogether and you only get 5,000 back, you're negative. It doesn't matter. Your KPIs doesn't fucking matter. You're not going to make money. It just doesn't matter. Now, if you put 10 out and you get back 20, you're making money. You're in the green. Now the KPIs matter. And now you can say, okay, let's dissect this. My cash conversion cycle was what? A month? Perfect. Now let's dissect the ROAS. Let's dissect the return on ad spend if that's an avenue that we took. Let's dissect the KPIs, how many leads, right? Let's dissect everything. Only after those 2 metrics are met. And this video was clearly the top 10 mistakes wholesalers are making.